I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars.
You may have noticed the internet is alive with the sound of Porsche.
I've seen there's a new one, yeah.
And it's time to make a fuss about it, isn't it?
I'm sure you'll think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's worth the fanfare, actually. And we're talking about the 911 GT3 RS.
Yes, we are.
And goodness me, doesn't it look like a purposeful thing? I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a looker by any stretch, but it means business, which I will accept it because it's Porsche. It's functional. It does something. It's not bolt on tat.
No, well, I would certainly hope not. I mean, the dining table on the boot. Obviously, somebody's put some thought into that.
Yes, they have, because I mean, not only is it nice swan-tail design, much like the GT3, the non-RS version.
Swan-tail, that's what I meant by dining table.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
You've got your terminology bang on there, haven't you?
I think so, yeah.
What you've not only is it got the dining table as you've coined it, but as part of that, they've got what is coined off.
Oh, there he goes. There he goes.
Oh dear! Unbelievable. We can't get through it without him.
That was not a GT3 RS. I think
I'm
sure of that.
Fairly convinced that's not the sound of a glorious 4-litre flat six naturally aspirated. Oh, yeah,
it wasn't.
I'm away. I'm doing it. I've got dirty noises in my head. Right, aero is a big deal on this car. You mentioned the ribbing. So, I mean, first off, they are saying that it's the Air Force. The Air Force. No, that's something quite different. The Downforce.
The Air Force have ordered 300,000 of them.
Oh, no. Good luck with that. Trying to get hold of one of these. My goodness me, not a chance. So what they're saying is it makes 3 times as much downforce as the standard GT3. I'm sure that's what I read.
Okay.
Which is hell of a statement.
It is, yeah. Does it need that much?
Well, obviously, with it being the RS one, this is squarely aimed at going, right, you're going to be track down this. I mean, not that, I mean, you might get the odd person who will, but, half of these are just going to be bought and locked away again.
You'll never see them. Yeah, absolutely. None of them, not one of them will do more than 1,000 miles.
Yeah, which is
it looks like
shame.
860 kilograms at 177 miles per hour. There you go.
Which is a lot.
Downforce.
Which is a lot for a road car. That's a lot.
It is. It is.
I just, can't quite get my head around that. You mentioned the rear wing. It has, thanks to the world of Formula One, they've coined the DRS system, drag reduction system. In Formula One, what that does is it was done in order to promote overtaking. So on various designated areas of the track, if you're within 1 second of the car in front, you can press a magic button, and one of the top element of the rear wing will go flatter to allow more air for it. So it is basically does what it says. It reduces the drag, so you go faster.
Yeah, okay.
So they've put a button like that in this. So you now, when you press it, apparently not only does it deal with the rear wing, but there is some of the front area that they've got going on it. It makes it, it shallows the angles on it, as well as changing the angle of the upper element on the rear wing. So you can go speedy fast. Not recommended mid-corner.
No, I'd imagine not. No.
No,
Okay.
that'll unsettle it, and then it'll be hedge.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, that's going to be pricey. I tell you what, I do like. They've launched it in the white, and they've put the decals on the side, and I love that. I love the red and the white. Love it. That's a bit of me. That is, I like.
You are such a Porsche geek, aren't you?
Love the red wheel because it harks back. You think back to the 2.7 Carrera RS. I know it came in various colours, but everyone thinks of the white with the red decals. It's just simple as, yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, and they've done it before because you had the 997 Gen 2 GT3 RS. That was red and white launch colour as well, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know. But
okay,
yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
I am. I was being modest.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Yeah. But yes, what a thing this is going to be. This, I'm pretty sure this is going to be PDK only,
right?
And all of this is utterly irrelevant because unless you are thoroughly ingrained with Porsche, you're not even going to be allowed to buy one or go near it.
I've just seen the price as well.
The starting price. Yes, before any options have been applied. £178,500.
Yes, that's a bit, isn't it?
It's a big number.
It is.
But you would, wouldn't you? Just for silliness. What was that noise?
I was me wrestling with the issue. That's what that sounds like when I wrestle with an issue.
Maybe don't then.
No, it does hurt a bit.
Is that too much for you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You think that's
well, clearly the money is too much for me. The money's too much for you as well. But
yes, it is. Yeah. I mean, I'm not getting a wheel nut off this thing.
No, you're not.
No.
It's not. No, when you say you would, wouldn't you? No, I don't. Well, I probably wouldn't. No.
Well, right. That's probably a generalisation. If you're in the market for arguably the best track-focused road car, you would, wouldn't you? There you go. That's probably the better way of phrasing it.
You would, certainly.
I would, yes.
Yes.
Well, actually, no. No, now I say it. Now I look at it and go, I appreciate this for what it is. I think they've done incredibly well. I don't agree with this whole, you have to have earned the right to buy this. And go, well, if you've got enough money, surely everyone's money is good.
I've never quite understood that. I always think, well, are you a business or not? I mean, surely if someone rocks up with the money, why wouldn't you sell it to them? I mean,
no.
I don't understand this thing of them choosing who can have it. And it's like, well, don't you want the money? I mean, surely you'll sell it to as many people as can afford it. I mean, why would you not?
I just it's an alien concept. I just don't get it. I never will.
I've never got that. A few companies do that, don't they, or have done it? I mean, I know Ferrari have done it, and you have to know someone, you have to be invited to be on the list. It's like you're a business. If someone's got the money to buy it, sell it to them.
Yeah, it's weird as well because, all right, if you've earned the right to be on this magical list, again, well, a load of people on this list are going to be just tucking these away, like we said.
Well, this is the problem. You end up selling it to the wrong people.
And then you get the thing of going, well, then you can be blacklisted if you flip the car, for instance, because you know what it's going to be like. You could buy this and you could sell it for $250,000, virtually,
probably
almost instantly, probably more.
You could probably double your money in a week. Yeah.
And that's a no. Porsche say no, you will be struck off for that. And I think all right, if you've got this magical list, that's probably a good rule to have.
If you're going to do it that way, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. However, However, I'm sure it was a non-RS version, a 992 GT3. I saw, and the same rules apply. If you're on this magical list, don't flip it. And and this came about. This was online. They were going, Porsche said, "You mustn't do this. This is not good. You mustn't do this. Don't want you profiteering off of this." And we saw, and I know dealerships are technically franchises.
Yes,
However, I saw delivery miles, one owner GT3 for sale at double the price on an official Porsche dealer website.
So they're flipping it themselves.
And I know it's a franchise, but it's like
it's a franchise and they're a separate company and all of that.
Know you can't have one rule for one and one for another. That is naughty.
Yeah, that's not on. If you're gonna not let the customers do that, you shouldn't let your dealerships do that either.
No, that made me a bit cross.
That should be in the contract for being that they shouldn't be allowed to be a dealer. They should lose the franchise if they're not going to abide by the rules like that. That's not fair. Whether you agree with it or not, like you say, you've got to be consistent with it. There's no point in telling customers off and then letting the dealers do it. That's taking the word we can't say. Yes.
Well, we can say it. Because it is very much like that in this case. That is really not on.
Yeah. No, it's not. That's not fair.
No, but
they shouldn't be doing that.
I tell you what, I digress. If I wanted a GT3 RS, a track-focused one, like this, I wouldn't have this one, actually, now I've thought about it.
See, I was right.
I mean, I would have a GT3 RS, just not that particular variant. Okay. I'd go for the 997 Gen 1.
Well, a bit older.
A little bit older.
Yeah.
And I just, again, they were wacky colours. They didn't do it in the white in that one. You'll remember, oh God, what was it? They did it in, I'm sure it was orange, green, and black. I'm sure those were the colours. Because you'll remember it from a Top Gear episode where they all had to pick sort of track-focused cars, and it was Hammond had the 911, obviously. And Clarkson had the Lamborghini. Oh God, what was it? The Gallardo. Superleggera, yes. And May had the N24 Aston V8 Vantage.
Oh God, he did, didn't he? Which he ended up absolutely loathing because it's not a car that can realistically be used on the road.
No, that was a racing car. So yeah,
that was purely a track car, which he attempted to drive across Europe. Yeah,
that's it. So the one that Hammond used in that, the green 911 GT3 RS, that is. Yes. That's the variant and era that I'd have, but I'd have it in the orange with the black decals. That would be me. That'd be the one.
Well, you are a discerning fellow when it comes to your sports car with the engine in the back.
Yeah, I think that's a bit more me. So I mean, granted, it's still a modern 911, but it's still a bit more. It's got the analog qualities in that one, I'd say. So you've still got your manual gearbox and such like. I just think that's a bit of me. That
that's nice. Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah, and if we're going purely on a visual thing, enough less frilly than the current one. But like we said, I did say the current one, that stuff is functional. They've not stuck those plastic bits on just for show.
No, it's fussy to look at though, isn't it? And I'm not arguing that it's not functional, but that's what would put me off. I don't like how it looks.
I just think it was, yes, it's I mean, a lot of it, even like proper active aero surfaces, which is great. But I just go, you know what? It's probably visually a bit overkill.
Surely they could have come up with a neater way of doing some of that, because it just does look like plastic tat stuck all over it.
Tricky one. Don't know.
No, I don't know either. I'm not an engineer from that perspective, but I just think it looks a bit untidy. It would bother me that. I wouldn't. No.
I don't think. I'm not going to say it put me off, but I do prefer that cleaner look of that.
Yes.
That 997 Gen 1.
Yeah.
I just think that's peak. I really loved the where it all started in 996 territory. Again, white with the red decals. Brilliant. That was really true to its roots, because you remember it went up against the Ferrari 360 Challenge Stradale, which was all tech, whereas the Porsche was actually a bit more dialed back and a bit more analog.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, but again, the result was fairly similar. But yeah, I just think that next one, that's where we're at. I think
that's the one where you'd have that. Yeah, fair dues.
That's where I deposit myself. Okay, so that's good. That's good. I mean, this is a relevant conversation. It's not like I'm going to have to ever pick between the two, is it? For Christ's sake,
not of those numbers, no.
No, it seems unlikely. Right? Okay. I'll tell you what then. Before we leave the world of flat sixes and glorious Porsche, have you seen that Singer have?
I'm going to love this. Whatever it is, this Singer, I'm going to love it.
You remember they did the turbo reimagined?
Yes.
Have you seen that they've done the Cabriolet reimagined?
Oh God, have they done it again?
Have you seen it yet?
No.
Oh, let me festoon you with a link.
Can you furnish me with something? There we go.
There you go.
Let's have a look here. Oh dear.
Yep. Isn't it lovely?
I'm gonna say yes.
Well, it is. It's just
it is.
I just what?
Wow. They are really good at this, aren't they?
They are, because what they've taken is that sort of turbo reimagined thing and went, well, let's do it, but without the roof.
Let's lock the roof off it, because
And I'll tell you what, though, a Cabriolet 911 is a difficult thing to pull off.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
These older ones, because this is styled on the older ones,
yes.
sort of 930s and such like.
Yeah.
You can get away with it on those because it's less complicated. They didn't have all the electrical gubbins. The modern stuff I really struggle with in Cabriolet form.
As a Cabriolet,
They look awkward.
They do look awkward. It's a real. It's what's a term a car designer would use? It's unresolved, isn't it? It's very. It doesn't really work. I don't think.
Not at all. No.
Because there isn't really room to do it.
No. There's not enough room. There's too much gubbins. There's a lot of safety things that need to go on these days.
Well, it's the opposite of this thing where you have to be invited to buy it. The only reason they're doing it is because they can sell it.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. If you've got the money, you can have one.
Yeah. It's the complete opposite of the other one. Yes,
which is weird because it's probably more exclusive in the long run. But it's weird.
Well, anyone who wants it as a proper driver's car is not going to buy the convertible because it's deeply compromised.
Oh, look at this madness! I tell you what, I sent you that link, which was just the news article on Pistonheads. It's basically the same story here, there, and everywhere, just different write-ups.
Yeah. But they've all had the same press release, haven't they?
And that's it. But I tell you what, off the back of it, they got there's some 911s for sale down the side.
They do that,
right? And here's a 964. I like a 964.
We all like a 964. Yeah.
And they've always been the unloved Porsche. Don't know why, really.
Till recently, yeah.
Thank you, Singer.
Yes, now everyone wants one.
All right, this one is a 1990 car with 10,000 miles on the clock, so that's good. That's low mileage. That's nice.
It is. That's good. Yeah.
But this is a Cabriolet. It's a Carrera 2, so I mean it is right at the bottom of the range in Cabriolet terms. 100 grand.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same advert.
The world has gone balmy.
You couldn't give those away a few years ago.
No, I think if we were 10 years ago, you would have paid a tenth of the price.
Yeah,
I honestly think you would have been around that ballpark for that car.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Anyone who did buy one in that era and who's looking to sell it is going to make a whacking great profit.
I'll tell you what, the conversation that came up the other day of going, you remember probably sort of early to mid 2000s where people were saying, oh, that's too much money, and spending 80 grand on an Aston Martin DB5.
Oh, God. And now you'd be lucky to get a DB5 for less than, what, $1 million?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's it. People are saying, oh, aren't you a silly Billy?
No.
No,
because now DB5s have just gone off the charts.
Well, I remember the same story about Nick Mason and his 250 GTO when he originally bought it. And someone said, you're paying silly money for that. And I can't remember what year it was he bought it, but someone said it was like he paid 75 grand for it, which, I mean, you do the conversion. That's still a lot of money.
Yeah, you got to take inflation into account, but yeah.
But still, I mean, there's inflation, and then there's saying, well, what's that now? In pounds, £30 million car, maybe more.
Least. Yeah, maybe more. Yeah, and people said 75 was too much.
Well, he's the one who's laughing. So,
well, quite. Yeah, it worked out all right for him, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to be doing all right.
I can't read the classic car market at the moment. It is all over the place.
No, I mean you couldn't give advice. Quinton Wilson couldn't give advice.
Oh no, even he would have given up. Yeah, absolutely. If he was
still
in the business, I mean he only advises people to buy electric cars now. But
he's on commission somewhere.
He's certainly big on Tesla these days, although they don't pay commission. So I don't know. Who knows? Anyway,
he'll have done a deal. Of course he will.
Well, he's working for Fully Charged in the background.
There you go. There's money change. He's not daft. He knows a good deal when he sees one.
He does.
I know what you mean, though. You couldn't, if someone said to you, "Oh, I've got."
What's a good classic buy at the moment?
I've got 5 grand burning hole in my pocket. I went, well, good for you. You can have a Dacia Sandero.
Well, exactly. That's the problem, isn't it? 5 grand. I'd like to buy myself a nice usable classic. Like, well, I'm not sure you can.
No, I mean, in years gone by, you probably just go, I'll just go and buy an MGB. I don't even know if that'll get you one these days.
MGB, Jag, XJS, something kind of mainstream like that.
That's it. You want something that's plentiful. Oh,
yes,
God, hang on.
Well, exactly.
Are we going to try and dish out advice here again? With that, we could be, but I tell you what, we're both just throwing out car names and models here and going, at no point has any of us actually looked at the price of these cars.
I've looked at the price of XJSs. I keep my eye on those, and they've gone silly.
Okay, so you're not getting one for 5 grand. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think, not one that you could use. No.
Not one that you'd want, anyway.
No.
It'd be a fixer-upper.
If you'd be a fixer-upper, it'd have the tiny engine. Well, I say tiny. I mean tiny for an XJS. It would have the 3.2 straight 6. You're certainly not getting a V12 for that money. And no one would want to run a V12 at the moment.
No, that's fair.
But, I'm just taking a little gander here.
I've had a little skim of MGBs, and my punt might not have been too bad. You're going to get bottom and end of the market, but you might have a vaguely usable vehicle or one that needs a bit of titivating.
Okay. I mean, they were quite plentiful.
Okay. So, all right. I've inadvertently sort of dished out something.
No, I mean, you can... Yeah, there are some XJSs for less than 5 grand, but not many.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's really not its sweet spot, is it?
No, it's not. It used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've got couple of Cat C write-offs. We've got some of the later facelift ones, the Series 2s, which are not the most sought after. And they've got as I said, the 3.6 straight six rather than the tastier engines.
Yeah.
There are what we got here. There are 4 for less than $5,000.
Okay.
And they are quite leggy ones that have the small engine, and they've gone with the optional bubbly wheel arches, which is always
it's always
nice to
spec
see.
those. I like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a tasty extra, that. Yeah. But
there we go. Here's something that we hadn't considered. I went down the MG route.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a lot to spend, and you thought, all right, I want to buy something that might be gleamed as a bit of fun, potentially might go up in value.
Hush your mouth.
Would you, if it was your own money and you didn't, if you didn't have a lot of it, you go, no, we know what that feels like. We don't have a lot of it.
No, we don't. No, we're there.
We're right there. This doesn't take much imagination. Would you ever entertain an MGF?
No.
It's a hard no.
No, I wouldn't. Absolutely not. No.
Interesting.
No.
I could be tempted if it were cheap enough, I think.
No.
I think I could. Yeah.
No. No, I'd have no interest in that at all.
That's fine. I was just putting it out there because I saw it off the back of my MG search, and I looked and went, yeah.
No, from that era, I'd have a Rover 75.
Yeah, I suppose you would suit that better. Yeah.
That's an interesting comment you've made there.
Well, you love to waft. That's more what I do.
Meant. I do love a waft. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I would. I really would. I'd go for from that era and that manufacturer. I would.
What I'd like is a car that might be fun occasionally, and the rest of the time you need to just sort of feed it head gaskets.
Oh yeah, it's busy. Yes, it's going to keep your mechanic busy anyway.
Well, as long as it's well looked after, because the trouble is, it is the 1.8 in those, and those are the ones that are most prone to going.
Yes.
So yes, that needs to be constantly massaged. But there would be a couple of nice days where you go, yeah, I'm winning. And the rest of them you're losing, obviously. But
obviously.
But I would say that if there was a moment of madness, I'd had a couple of beers and I come back and there's a bit of eBay, there's a potential I could end up with one of those.
Oh, it's risky when that starts happening. Yes. Well, we've all had a late night eBay, haven't we? But
we have.
No, I would not find myself searching for those. No.
That's fair enough. That's all right. I was just putting it out there. As you say about eBay and drunkenness. I remember once my uncle ended up with 2 saxophones from pissed bidding on eBay.
I think you told me that once.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite ones. Again, I won a ball. Well done, you. Not bad.
Do not go near eBay when the liquid has been flowing. That's not good.
Yes, you can get a little bit happy.
You can, but no, I Rover 75, and I had a lovely Rover 75 sighting this week.
Oh, did you?
Always a pleasure.
Where did you find a 75?
Well, this continues my recent series of unexpected cars in supermarket car parks. And there was a gold Rover 75, and I know just about enough about 75s to know, because it had the black sills, that marks it out as a very early Cowley car, I believe.
I will bow to your knowledge on this one, because I have no idea.
That is the case. I believe that is the case, and it looked in really good shape.
Okay.
It was gold with a cream interior. And every time I see a 75,
that's a bit of you.
Yeah, it's such a handsome car. Yeah, well, I wouldn't, because if I bought a 75, every time I got in it, I would think, oh, I wish I'd bought an S-Type. But
yeah, you might think that, but if you can get a 75 at the right price,
yes, absolutely.
And with the right engine as well. That's important.
Well, the trouble with what is the right engine in the 75? That's the trouble. We know the right engine in the S-Type, but
yeah, but we're all right with that. Okay, so, all right. Should we attempt to pin it down to which?
Shall we take a moment on this?
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to rule out the 1.8 either normally aspirated or turbo because I think the 1.8 naturally aspirated is just too pitiful for that car, and it's the K series, so it'll pop.
It'll go bang. Yes. No, we don't want that.
Similar. I mean, I've never driven the 1.8 turbo. I've heard it's a lot better, but it's still that same base engine of popping. So maybe just hard no.
I'm not sure what the engine of the one I have driven had. Was it the V6? I don't know. It was our friend Matt's 75. Phil drove it as well.
Didn't they do two V6 in it? Didn't they do a 2 litre and a 2.5 litre V6?
Yeah, I can't remember which one his was. He'll be screaming at his phone now when he's listening to this, telling me which one it was, but I can't remember. Phil would probably remember.
He would, and Phil will be full Rain Man quoting the registration at us.
He will.
Yeah.
I remember it was a Y plate. I couldn't tell you the rest of it.
Probably need a bit more than that to go on.
Yes, probably would. But and I would rule out the diesel. Any of them.
Oh, fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm having a little skim now. I mean, what was the 75 that had the massive engine?
Well, the MGZT.
Yeah, because we talked about this before, didn't it? Wasn't it the Mustang engine?
That was in the ZT260.
That was
but those are incredibly rare.
Yeah, so I mean that doesn't quite count in 75 territory. That is badged differently, isn't it? So
yeah, I mean, I'd like one of those too. I wouldn't say no to an MGZT, particularly the TT, the estate version.
Yeah.
Which I believe was on my recent list.
It was. We spoke about that, and that's fair. But yeah, I think if you got one of those at the right price, it would be probably a petrol V6. You wouldn't feel too bad about the S-Type thing if the money was right. I'd say.
If the money was right, I think I could be quite comfortable in a 75. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a lot of time for them. I really do.
It does, and you think probably there's definitely a whiff of the partridge about it as well, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Well, there's no direct link as far as I can recall.
No, because he didn't have one, did he?
But you could see him in one.
Yeah, you could. I mean, he took him in a different direction, didn't he? Because he gave him the Lexus instead after the Rover 800.
That was it. Yeah, he was a bit more upmarket than
a Rover 200. Sorry, he did the 800 then a 200. Didn't he?
Yeah. Oh yes. Cock piss partridge. Yes.
On the 800 saloon, and then he gave him the 200, and then the next time we see him, he's got the Lexus.
Almost 100, thanks to Lynn. I'm not driving a mini metro.
Yeah. I'm just going to talk over you.
Yeah. Rebadged it, you fool.
Because didn't Steve Coogan explain on Top Gear that by rights, after the Rovers, he probably would have bought a Jaguar X-Type, but he didn't think that was particularly funny, so he gave him the Lexus because it was more comedic.
I'm sure that was a conversation. I haven't seen that in a long time, but yes, I do.
I'm sure that's what he said. He thought about giving him the X-Type because that's probably what he would be in. But he just couldn't. It wasn't inherently funny. Whereas putting him in the Lexus, I drive a Lexus.
Yeah, that's it.
It's funnier. So yes,
Japanese Mercedes, and then obviously you've got Dan as well with the plural of.
There was just more.
Lexi.
There was more to run with the Lexus than there would have been with the Jag, so he went with the Lexus.
Yes,
but by rights, he would probably have bought a Jag X-Type.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah,
because what did he end? I know we didn't see him for a while. What did he end up with in the film?
It was a Kia, wasn't it?
That was it, because it was a sponsored one, wasn't it?
Yes. Alan Partridge drives this Kia.
That was it, yeah. Which, again, is brilliant.
Yeah.
But then he ends right. Obviously, I say spoiler alert. If you've not seen the film now, catch up.
It's been out a while. I think we're okay on that.
He ends up with his Range Rover, doesn't he? At the end,
Range Rover towing the speedboat. Of course.
Yeah. So happy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah. So yes, good. Yeah. You and a 75.
If we're talking, that manufacturer from that era, no, I wouldn't even look at the MGs. I'd have an MG ZT or a Rover 75. Yeah,
that's fine. All right then. I'll tell you what. Then should we, before we end it, should we drag it right up to current events? And a car that will float both of our boats. And electric news too.
Oh.
That Polestar have confirmed that they will be building the Polestar 6 Roadster.
Yes, I did see that. You're quite right to raise that. Yes, indeed, I did see that.
I think maybe one each.
Puts me very much in mind of the first edition of the Jag F-Type.
I know what you mean. The other one that I thought of, actually, looking at it more from, perhaps not from front view, but maybe sort of rear three-quarter looking forwards, the new Nissan Z.
Yes,
the roof line, window shapes. Yeah, I just think it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it does. It does. I was very pleased to see that. Yeah,
I've got a lot of time for their styling.
Yeah.
And I just think that's gonna be nice.
The Polestar has grown on me a lot. I wasn't a big fan when I first saw it, but it's grown on me. That
having seen a few now. I've seen ones and twos.
Yes, there's quite a few around actually.
There's quite a few twos around here. Ones are very rare.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
But have seen a few, and they are gorgeous in person.
Yeah.
What a design! I know you look at it and go, "God, it looks a bit like a Volvo," and you go, "Well, there's an awful lot of Volvo involved." But,
there is, isn't there? Yeah.
But there's someone's doing some correct things with that, because it's striking, but sort of, I don't know, it's brutish styling. Let's go with that.
Yeah, it sort of is. I also like the fact that it's a hatchback.
That's a bit of everyone there.
That's a real bonus. That
I am,
and I think that's where it wins over the Model 3. As big a fan as I am of the Model 3,
I think it wins over that. But if I tell you what, in terms of their lineage and their relationship to Volvo, for the love of God, make an estate car.
It does need that, doesn't it?
You've got You've got numbers in between. Use one of those numbers and make an estate car. You absolute lunatics! Come on.
Oh, we'd be all over that, wouldn't we?
That would be it. That would be.
Oh yeah. Now. I really want that now. Oh, please do an estate version of that.
Yes,
because it would give us the only estates we've got electric are opposite ends of the market, aren't they? The MG5 or the Taycan various versions, Turismo.
Yeah, I think there's an Audi on the way.
There's an Audi on the way, but it's not out yet.
But yeah, a Polestar one, because
it'd be a more sensible price for a start.
The price would be somewhere in between.
Yeah.
The styling would be, you'd want to look at it way more than you want to look at the MG.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want to do anything with the MG. I mean, I think it's the reason for me that the MG kind of acquits itself. Yeah, it looks a bit cheap and it feels a bit cheap, and the tech's a bit yesterday. But for once, it actually is quite cheap. It's 26 grand.
Which, I mean, I know it's far from a drop in the ocean, but for what you're getting for your 26 grand in this day and age is actually all right.
Yeah, it is. So you sort of forgive it. It's quirks and it's sort of cheap plastics and things like that. You think, well, actually, for once, it is cheap. So fair enough.
If we could have
something in between,
an in between. Come on, Polestar, pull your finger out. Right, we've done You've done your vehicles and go, right, your history suggests you're going to need an estate car now. Do it.
Yeah, do it while no one else is.
Yes,
because
and
you will own the market on that.
I think there's enough of a market. There's enough of us weirdos out there that go, I'll have it, and I'll have it now.
Oh, I bet they do an SUV.
They will do, which is fine. Do your range by all means. I'm not interested in it. I don't want it.
No,
but do an estate. Do it.
Yeah, just make it.
Yep.
Just make it.
Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.